everybody. I am Hyper G. Lucky Sixes is there.
And we are PTG.
Boom, 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 bada bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, we need some
Bum, bum.
music, I think. Maybe some.
Yeah,
Well, we've got the dun, but I don't know. Maybe like
yeah.
maybe some extra. And we got
That dun was remarkably accurate, I have to say.
it was.
Like that,
I'm
I
musically
immediately
talented.
just continued
I
singing it in my head.
don't
Yeah,
like to often brag, but perfect
no,
pitch.
no, you're not really a bragger, actually. You're just awesome, just
Just
generally.
awesome. Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you
I
go.
might start bragging. I might just go around telling people I'm awesome.
Yeah. I think you should. I think you
Hmm.
should. Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
new start.
New start.
2025.
What, less humble?
Yes. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
complete dick.
Well, yeah, there is that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But we're
But
we're
yes,
battling, reporting
we are.
battle as we do. Feels
Yeah,
like we haven't done
and
it in a while, but that's
we're
because
actually we're
Christmas
actually
was slow.
yeah, it was, but we're back in it. We're hot off the press of the Masters Open,
Mm.
but that's in the future. We actually got a battle in, or I did with Mister Boxy.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know
don't
what he's
know
known.
how is is his actual surname Boxy or is
David
it a
Box, isn't it?
version?
I think I'm pretty sure.
Well, I don't know. I never really worked it out because I
I'm
just
pretty sure.
always call him Boxy.
Yeah,
But
that's true. But
yeah,
he's it
yeah.
doesn't matter what his name is because to everyone he is known as
No,
Boxy.
exactly.
And
I'm Hyper G. That's fine. That's my name by default now. It's all
yeah,
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he's playing in a Celtic league, I believe. And I said,
Mm.
can I get a game? I'm desperate to play and catch up and learn
Hotfix 355.
the
Yep.
new rules as of Christmas.
Yep.
um, yeah, exactly. Um, so yeah, and he was very knowledgeable and really helped me out throughout the battle
He always
and
is. Mm.
prepped me very nicely for. Oh yeah, if I do this, I'm like the dwarf.
No. I'm not going to ever pretend to be a highborn elf. I'm sorry. I can't stoop to that level. No. That is well
Someone
below me.
screenshot this. That's the
And save
same
it in your private files
dwarf. But
for
yes, I
later.
was I preempted the open with a bit of a run out with my Highborn elf list as a
Yeah.
bit of
Yeah.
prep, and he was using his Celtic League dwarf list, which I'm very excited to go over. But we shall
Mm.
go over my list first. As always, we listen to the comments, and I'm going to turn us off so that you can see the whole list right there.
Oh, very good.
You
Very good.
lucky
New start,
people.
2025. Yeah, you're not going to
But
miss out
listen
on
to
all the
people.
magic items. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so have a quick look there. Pause it if you like to get a good look at everything. But we have a High Prince on foot, Master of Canrig Tower with Scroll of the Pearl Throne and the Destiny's Call, as well as the Spear. He's a Spear Prince, as a lot of people know him. For the tournament, we have a bit of a duel phase, and the Spear is pretty good. So I decided
Yeah.
to go for that. We've got a Fleet Officer on a Sky Sloop, which is the new addition to my list that I haven't played before. It's been going around a bit. Paul's been trying it from the Fantasy Wargaming
Podcast of fun.
podcast thing.
You
And
realize you said two of their three names and you'd done them in the
yeah,
right
the
order, which
podcast,
kind
but
of
yeah,
left you no
should have
choice
said
but to say
YouTube
the third one in the
channel.
right
Yeah,
place, didn't you? Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, the Wargaming Fantasy podcast. He's been trying them out and been using them, so I wanted to give him a go. I think it's pretty much the same as what he normally does. It's basically got one of those auto hit shooting things on the top, but I put a talisman of shield in just because I'm wary he might get shot off himself. I've got
Yeah.
BSB on foot, Queen's Companion, which is going in what I'm deeming as one of the best units in the game at the minute, the Queen's Guard.
I agree.
I've always loved them. I've always used
You
them,
have.
but they've been buffed. They are a bit more expensive, but for what they get,
It's fine.
not so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, gonna make them accurate and bow the Elu's Heartwood for a bit of extra AP in that unit as well. Going down straight to that unit, I've got a unit of 20 Queen's Guard with the Banner of Bekarmin to take a dice off your opponent. A big unit is Spears with the Spear Prince goes in, Sea Guard and Reavers to round off the core. 2 Initiates of the Fiery Heart, which a bit more expensive, but do very, very similar things, apart from obviously breathe all the time, everywhere. And 2 Lion Chariots, the fluff of the list. We have Catclaw, a fan favourite, and the new recruit, Rory.
Rory.
He's a drinker.
I like it.
By the way, Rory's a drinker.
I don't think the actual Rory is anymore, but this one can be.
There's more than one Rory's.
That's true. Yes,
but there's not more
other
than one
Rorys are available, as you would say.
Rory's.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. I thought you had favourites, but no, if we're not going to call out favourites, then fine.
He's slowly becoming a favourite, but yeah. The dwarf list.
Slowly.
I'm so excited to give you.
Yeah.
So no magic. So Banner Rickham is useless. 1-0 Boxy is what that is.
Oh yeah.
He has 3 Dragon Seekers and a BSB. All the Dragon Seekers go in a big unit Seekers. BSB goes in the big unit Clan Warriors. He's got a separate Clan Warrior and 2 units of Whole Guardians. There's not a lot, but oh boy, are these dwarves fast. They all Vanguard. They're all coming at you. There's no magic, no shooting. It is all combat, and baby, they are tough and armoured up. Apart from the Seekers, of course. But we all know those Dragon Seekers are the ones to look out for in that unit. So yeah. Really, really interesting to see how this plays up.
That's cool. I like that. That's here's a big can. Can you open it?
Yeah, absolutely. Because he certainly can. But yeah, have a look at the runes and stuff if you're looking for what the Dragon Seekers have. But I'm sure they'll come up later. And we get straight into the battle. As some of you might have noticed as well, we're using Warhall. A really, really good tool. There's some really decent tournaments going on Warhall as well at the minute. A few team tournaments and things like that. Obviously, really good for battles where I can play Boxy from 100 miles away or wherever we are, and play each other. So yeah, really good. We played Hidden Agendas, which means it's all focused on the secondary and bottleneck. It's actually the 3rd round of the Open as well. It was just a bit of practice for that as well. Nice. My one was Master the Veil, which is get a channel person in the centre of the board at the end of the game, which is a really nice one with those dragons. That really, really works well.
He doesn't have channel.
Score. So his combat unit have to kill my combat unit, which is I was a bit worried at actually. In the end, I thought that'd be quite a tough one for me to get away with. But I've got some magic to buff me up, so maybe we can do the damage there.
Yeah. So your Master of the Veil is like 50% easier because he can't get a channel within the centre of the board to stop you because he hasn't got one.
Absolutely.
So 1-1, I would call that.
So I think overall the objectives are in my favour. It's just whether or not I can keep my big spear unit alive by the end of it after all the combat that they're likely have to do. So he dropped 4 first, just putting them as you are. When I saw this, I did originally say to him that perhaps I could just deploy in the diagonal on the other complete opposite side of the game. But I wasn't about to do that for a practice game, my only practice game for the whole tournament. So we kind of played just around him with some bits on the side as well. So he's got the big unit of Clan Warriors with BSB, followed by the smaller unit of Clan Warriors, Hod Guardians, Seekers, Hod Guardians. Hod Guardians both chose the Vanguard and plus Agility,
of course,
so that they could keep up with the rest of the crowd. I've got from left to right Seaguard. I've got my buff dragon, so the dragon that takes molten copper and living steel and
flaming swords.
Then I've got my spears with spear prints, my Queen's Guard just at the back of that forest. I guess taking cover, but not really.
Well, they would. They're half in.
Some Reavers. But he's got no shooting, is what I mean.
Fair enough.
Reavers facing off against the hill. 2 Lion Chariots, Rory being the one on the right, and the other dragon with the sloop in front of them. I was the defender, because he was attacker and wanted to drop first. So my sloop, I gave the extra Vanguard to.
Okay.
And after Vanguard, this was deployment, obviously. And after Vanguard, it looks something like this. And he's already, just looks like he's had a turn.
Looks like turn one, but no.
Which he kind of has. But my Reavers basically go behind the hill. Can't be seen, but ready to chaff when needed. And as you can see, the sloop sort of just fanned out to create that lovely inverted rainbow that
I
is
like
so manly. About
Smiley
the Elvens.
face.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that is the Vanguard, really. Onto his turn one, and he just continues the assault of the ground.
Yeah. So you don't actually chaff him; he chaffs you because he just comes and stands in front of your chaff.
Yeah, the Reavers were the problem.
You're gonna be chaffed anyway, so he may as well chaff himself. I like that.
Yeah.
That's Boxy all over. That's just like matter of fact. This is how it is. I'm gonna say exactly how it is. Done.
Absolutely.
And
to be honest as well, this was the first learning point from my point of view. Was obviously they have light troops, and light troops don't move normally, quote unquote.
No.
But if something is within 3 inches of them, they basically automatically fail a march check and cannot march for their turn.
They just move their mobility level.
I was bartering about sort of going in between the lines and going behind them, but there was no movement to do so.
You'd only have 9 inches on Reavers from there.
So that was the first learning curve, which was really interesting. It was really good. But yeah, he just moves up and he goes, "All right, your turn." And I was like, "Oh, this is cool."
Yeah. He's tilted his units as well. He's tilted his units so that you couldn't chaff 3 units.
Yes.
I think maybe a little bit, but
spread out ever so slightly, sort of like that.
Yeah. And you can't conga line anymore, can you?
No.
To the same extent, you could go 2 wide, right? 2 wide and 3 deep.
So, yeah, but I haven't tried it yet.
No, I'm not sure if even that's allowed actually.
So
yeah.
I think you might be able to go 3 and 2.
3 and 2, I think, in a unit of 5. Yeah.
But yeah, basically, and again, I'll take us off just so you can see the sloop where he is. I sort of fan out a little bit. My chariots and dragon on the right hand side go right to the edge of the board to create this.
That's where they want to be.
All sorts. I'm thinking that if I'm very intrigued as to what out of those could take the whole Guardians, because it seems like they're coming this way. I know the sloop is pretty decent on the charge. The guy, because he's got a lance, so he is strength 6.
They just turn around and bash him into the ground, though, don't they?
Yeah, but obviously not on his own. So
no.
I'm trying to, as he's moving forward, I'm trying to do in my head what exactly could take him and what could do, potentially 18 wounds to 3 up armor as 5. And I am all strength 5 chariot, so that's interesting. The dragon is strength 5 as well, so I'm sort of umming and ahhing and doing all that. The Reavers just shimmy over to mean that if the whole Guardians do go into them, they sort of face an awkward position. And otherwise, I don't really move. If anything, I move a little bit back, just to give myself a bit of room, really, in the battlefield. During the shooting and magic phase, my Queen's Guard and Sea Guard go against the smaller clan warriors just to make sure that if they do come in, I will be steadfast. Solid.
Yeah, come on now. What is steadfast? Doesn't exist.
And the sloop and molten copper from the offensive dragon go into the whole Guardians and do 3 runes.
The rough wagon.
So, yeah, the rough.
He roughs them up with fire.
Absolutely. Oh, goodness me. His Seekers go into my Reavers, just to get rid of them. And this is the remaining moves for turn 2 of the Dwarves, deciding just to completely ignore any of them and just move forward with the whole Guardians. The brash confidence of Boxy got me scared, if I'm honest. Moving towards this Queen's Guard, which is not good for me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, though, he doesn't have much in the way of other things in his turn. So we go straight on to combat with the Reavers. And actually, they die as expected. So
Very good.
I think it
Yes, they
took
didn't even get
one.
to fight the combat with the hill.
No, I think it took
At the start, you
one
said that they
seeker.
were facing off against the hill, and they didn't even get that combat.
No,
So
they didn't.
no,
I'm not sure they wanted it, if I'm honest.
no, probably
But
not. Yeah, their
it
hearts
is
weren't
what
in
it
it.
is. Yeah.
Mm.
So this is how it looks before my turn, and I decide to sort of go in with just the line chariots. My guys on top are strength 6. The lions themselves are
Yeah.
strength 5, and I've got 2d6 strength plus 2 strength 5 impact hits. And I think
I thought you would.
impact hits are always a bit spiky, so you've got that in the bag, but perhaps they could do a job and do just enough to break them, or at least hold them there. The Seekers are in a bit of an awkward spot after overrunning right up close to the whole Guardian, so maybe I can take advantage of that. I did also think about just charging everything in, and I was trying to work out overruns and things, but it seemed like this was a good test for the new the Lion duo. What's a
Yeah.
good name for the pack? No, uh,
Yeah.
the Pride chariot. No,
It
I
is.
don't know.
Yeah. Pride
Yeah.
of lions. Yeah. Mhm.
But yes, so I moved like so, and I thought, well, actually, I could overrun if I do manage to get lucky and chaff the Seekers with an overrun. I'm pretty sure I would die. I'm not sure there's many ways that the Lion Chariot would survive going into 3 Dragon Seekers and a whole unit of
Well, even
undepleted.
the impact hits dying
Yeah,
blow, isn't it? I think on the Seekers.
exactly.
So
So,
yeah.
but it would create chaff, and if I've gone into them, it means the whole Guardians are no more. So I would take that trade.
Yeah.
Over to the rest of my movement, and I just move back with the Sea Guard and Dragon to give myself some space. I move over with the spears more towards his centre, and the Queen's Guard don't worry about the forest and move back the other side to give as much range from those whole Guardians in the middle as I possibly can. The Dragon and the Sloop now are pretty much free for the rest of the game. They're going to be shooting and magicking those Seekers as
Blink,
much as
blink.
humanly possible over the next few turns.
Elfingly possible.
Is it elfingly possible? Yeah. I get in magic. I get favor and Whispers of the Veil, so that should help the cause. They're now res 4. I'm really
Nice.
feeling positive about that. And in shooting, I do a few to the Clan Warriors, a wound to the
Old Guardians.
Hold Guardians, and this was his Seeker's save from the Queen's Guard.
Oh,
As you can
nice.
see, I did 8 wounds to him, and oh boy, do I respect people that roll 6s. I
Yeah.
couldn't even be mad. It was awesome. He got 6 out of
I
8
mean, he
sixes.
even tried to save it on a 5-up as well. Just, I mean, he's
He
only got
did.
a 6-up, right? But
He
still.
did. Yeah. I thought it was
Yeah,
awesome. And
that's
congrats.
cool.
Morally speaking, that's 2-0 to Boxy already.
Yeah.
This is unfortunately for me after combat. I only
Oh,
did 4 wounds total.
ouch.
I thought that seemed a bit low with all my attacks and impact hits and things, but I think I only did about 4 impact hits anyway. I had to
Yeah.
use the hereditary up to stop some wounds, and I did win, but it was only by 1 and not enough to break them. So in the end, I think really I needed more than the dynamic duo to
Yes.
deal the
The
damage.
pouring pride. Yeah.
And this is what it looks
So you didn't break them,
before
yeah.
he goes in. So unfortunately, the test
Yeah.
failed, and we'll have to rethink going into the tournament. The Seekers go in to the chariot. Fortunately for me, it was in the front, although I don't think it's going to matter too much. And the whole Guardians took a 15 which was their max charge, and thankfully for me, did not get 6. They needed to get into the Queen's Guard, so happy enough with that. The Clan Warriors both move forward to put some more pressure on, and we see what we can do.
Yeah.
Going into combat, unfortunately, I don't do any wounds whatsoever, and
No.
the line chariots kind of get a bit scared that they're the ones being charged. Both die. One of them getting mowed down in
Chase
combat. The
down.
other one getting mowed down afterwards after it flees the scene.
Mm.
And moving on to my turn, and I get aggressive with my shooty list.
Ooh.
And I sort of see a bit in the middle there where obviously it's my spears that are the ones I need to try and stop. And I need a 6, I think, to get to if I can kill the clan warriors, this is to overrun to safety from the seekers and the whole guardians, of course. So if I can get a 6 on the overrun, then I'll escape. I'll go towards that center, and I won't be countercharged, which is very nice. He did think about fleeing, but then I could just charge his whole guardians and have a similar thing.
Yeah.
So there was an interesting sort of back and forth there, really, with that. I think I might have even charged the bigger clan warriors in that respect. So I had options, and he decided to hold to see what it'll do. And I was, it's all on the overrun, really. I'm expecting to win the combat. I've got a magic phase as well to help. The Sea Guard have to go up to chaff any sort of counter charge just in case from that way. And the buff dragon comes around to support in later turns. The Queen's Guard keep moving back as much as possible, and the sloop goes in to basically chaff, hold up the whole Guardians, really, from that point of view. The dragon comes to the rear of the Seekers to use its one-time only breath weapon, and we'll see how much it can do. But that rounds off Highborn's turn 3.
Nice.
Over in shooting, and
right at the minute,
collectively I do 9 wounds with the Queen's Guard and the breath weapon, just there. So pretty happy enough with that, half and down. And obviously if they hadn't got those saves earlier, they'd be down to pretty much just the Seekers. If we can get one more shooting round on them, then we should be good and should be causing them problems. In the middle, I do really, really good work on the clan warriors, and I just push through. I roll an 8 or a 9, I can't remember, and I'm well clear of the whole guardians and out of line of sight of the seekers.
That's awesome.
To a really, really good position.
That's
so
amazing.
It certainly paid off. It is a bit of a risk. We had a bit of a chat about this, and like if it was a team tournament, it might be a bit of a different play, and say, captain's cool, whatever. But as it was just a bit of fun, I wanted to see what, if I did fail, how bad it would be. Although we're pretty sure it would be pretty bad if I got a 5 or under. The sloop goes in and does enough wounds to not take any back and cause them to just stay there, really, which is job done from his point of view. And this is what it looks like before his turn. So we go on to this, and this was another learning point that I brought from the game, which was that a lot of the movement and especially charging has been sort of dulled down in terms of how complex the movement has to be. And this was showing that even though he couldn't wheel around, and if I go to the previous picture, you can see that he just didn't have enough space to wheel around to get in to touch him. He was able, just by a millimeter, to wheel and move forward to touch me, which meant he could charge. They've cleared up a lot of the almost not
like the aesthetics,
not straightforward, thing. So basically, if you
but
can
only
touch them,
only 2 ranks are fighting here. Only 2 models are actually doing swinging, right? The ones on the right, as we're looking at it.
What do you mean?
How many dwarfs are fighting in this combat?
By dwarves, do you mean hold guardians or?
I mean seekers.
Seekers. So, as I was going on, as long as you can touch it, when you then touch the opponent, you teleport. So you basically...
Right, of course you do. Okay, so there's... you're about to... Yeah, okay, I'm with you.
So as long as you can touch it, it doesn't matter whether you can wheel to turn to maximize or anything like that. As soon as you touch it, you then move them to a position that you like, and they charged here, and they could do it, and they ended up...
So your opponent never closes the door to you because you just, ka-jing, I'm in. basically
Yeah,
now.
yeah. And
Yeah.
you kind of get to position them so that they get
Mm.
maximized.
Yes, of course.
It's less
Is that an
finicky,
optional thing,
I
or do you
guess.
have to do it?
I think
Like,
maximizing is a you have to, as far
it's
as I
still a
know.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
if in that scenario, yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
But that was
Mhm.
basically just showing that you don't have to, wheel around, and chaffing's a little bit harder now in that
Yeah.
regard. Um, but as long as you can touch a unit, you teleport and get in. The big clan
Mm.
warriors go against the Sea Guard, and the Sea Guard are, doing their bit for the Elf cause. And the whole Guardians don't decide to charge this time; just march forward to ensure the next turn something happens. So
Yeah.
yeah, a little bit worried when I saw that, but we'll see how we get on with that. No magical shooting as always, but unfortunately for me, the whole Guardians turn round and smack me sideways as long
Ah.
as with the Seeker's help. And it probably was the other way around, if I'm honest, with the Seekers doing the slapping. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, my 2 up, 5 up couldn't, and 4 wounds with Res 4 couldn't hold up to the Seekers, and he got smashed to bits. Over here, the Sea Guard get well and truly beaten. There's
They did their
solid
job for the team.
+1 to wound, but they don't die. They do run away, and he decides not to chase. So if I can rally them, no harm done.
Oh,
Tell that to the
yeah.
wives. In my turn, I decide to
Elves don't
move
have wives.
so. Don't they? Fair
No,
enough.
they're single. They're all single.
They're all single. Um, I decide to move like so. So my spears turn around to face these things. I moved them as much as I could, and I couldn't find a way to do it otherwise. I had to leave a 6 charge with the Seekers in there. So the Seekers do have a charge into my flank, which is not
Okay.
preferable, but it's the
Nervous.
best I
It's
can do.
nerve-wracking. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, but in terms of the clan warriors coming in, they can come in, and we'll see how we get on. Hopefully, 1-on-1.
Yeah.
The buff dragon just moves to the rear of that unit, and the offensive dragon moves to the rear of the Seekers with a bit of pyro flow and maybe some chaffing at a later stage if needed.
Yeah. Should be able
The
to take
Queen's Guard
another rank
rank
off the
up,
Seekers.
with me remembering at this point that bows give you fire an extra rank anyway. And obviously they've got spears innately, so they have fighting extra rank innately. So 3 deep actually seems like a pretty good position for the Queen's Guard there.
Yeah.
And you see if we can shoot as much as humanly possible before they inevitably come in.
Yeah.
Moving on to magic, I get Living Steel off on the Queen's Guard and Whispers of the Veil. My magic was pretty good throughout the game, to be honest. I was getting 2 spells off, but generally trying to get attempting 3 or 4. So I think Boxy also got. It was like one of those where I was attempting quite a lot, and he was getting unlucky with some of the spells as well.
Yeah.
So I was often getting 2 spells off, and that was really good for me.
Yeah. I was just going to say that Boxy's placement of his Hold Guardians in the forest is very clever because he's put in like the front corner and the middle of the Hold Guardians in the forest for a bit of cover.
Yeah.
Like that would be really easy just to match those Hold Guardians or move those Hold Guardians through and then have the middle slightly poking out the forest. But
Yeah.
he's a very wily chap, is Boxy, and that's
Yeah.
really good placement because
He's
get.
no mug.
I mean, I know it's only -1 to hit, but
Yeah.
everything counts, especially against Queen's Guard. So
Oh, absolutely. But thankfully the +1 to hit managed to get off,
yes,
so I was happy with that. In terms of wounds, I only did 5 to them. Even with the
sure.
-1 res, the
They're
armor
just
was
tough.
just good. Yeah, they have got 3 up armor, to be fair to most of my shots, so there is that. And on his turn, he decides to pull the trigger, and oh boy, there is a drum roll, please. Oh, now,
yay!
I would say 95% of you are very share the sadness of the smiley face or unsmiley face on the finish scene.
95% people prefer dwarves, prefer highborns over dwarves.
Yeah, well,
I'm
it's
sure
an
that's a
interesting
stat.
one. Yeah, I think so.
They're both the most hated armies in the world.
Yeah, but when dwarves don't take
And I
magical
play
shooting,
dwarves sometimes.
yeah, But anyway, thankfully for me, they didn't get in, so we get to see what the spears on spears. Spears on great weapons do in that thing. He's got a BSB there as well, and I've got my spear lord. So we'll very interested to see how that goes. And of course, there's not much time to wait as we go into combat, and I do 13 to his 5, which is very interesting. Of course, I have the Navigator's banner, giving me a 5-up save on the first round of combat, which really, really helped. And thankfully for me, he
only did 5.
He only did 5, but he was steadfast. So
I suppose he's only got 10 attacks, right? So
yeah, and the Thane as
that's
well.
actually all right. Yeah.
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 But he holds because he's
that's not so
steadfast, steady and steadfast, solid.
There you go again.
Yeah, and it is my turn 5. He's got one more turn after this, and my rough dragon over there decides to take one for the team and charge the back of the Seekers, knowing that they'll have a couple of turns to turn around and smash me up.
Yeah.
But it will keep the Seekers out with the spears, which of course is the main objective. For both of us, really. He needs to kill it, and I need something in the centre with channel. So that really should be it. I take my dragon into the clan warriors as well for a bit of combat res support and some extra damage and stomps. I was keen to see that the turn before he didn't choose to go into my Queen's Guard. Of course, all the buffs and things were probably one of the reasons why, but he just decided that I couldn't kill him from shooting. So that was interesting, and I certainly didn't want to go into the forest to fight some big old Hull Guardians.
Not when you're holding awesome bows with your moonlight arrows. You feel quite good about yourself, probably.
Exactly.
So,
we haven't got the spears from our backs yet. We are still holding that. I'll just go quickly. The Sea Guard rally, and this is what it looks like once all is told. Queen's Guard don't move really from that point of view. In combat, he actually does a pretty decent job of all the attacks, but they do hold. Well, they're unbreakable really, and they turn around with all their big characters to come at me, bro. That's it's good work, but good night. And thankfully, with the other dragon coming in for a bit of support and me sort of finally getting the edge, I make him run actually pretty significantly, and I catch him as well to really compound the misery for the dwarves from that front. Pleased that I got the spears work actually, and I'm really impressed with what they could do with the spear lord in them. We go on to the rest of the battle. And the Queen's Guard keep shooting as much as they can and get the whole Guardian unit down to one guy with 3 wounds, but not quite enough to get the rest. But that was decent enough for me. They kept their points. They got half points for that unit, and well done there. Otherwise, the dragon dies as expected.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
R.I.P. But thereth endeth the battleth.
Yes. Well doneth.
Well doneth. And it ended up being a 15-5. It might be a 16 because I'm not sure, because Hidden Agenda is a bit weird points, isn't it? But we called it a 15-5 regardless. Those were the points. And it was a high elf win. Victory!
Hurrah! Yes. I'll pretend to be happy about that.
Yes.
No, well done you. Yeah, that was a good game.
Getting the objective as well. Yeah, really, really fun game. Boxy was a class lad as well. It's fairly quick, obviously, because he's not got much in the way of a turn. But it's a nice list. I really enjoyed playing it and the opportunity to play something. And Boxy super knowledgeable as well. There was a few bits that we talked through and really felt like I understood 3.0 after one game a little bit more, which was fantastic. So, or I should say 3.0.5 or whatever.
Yeah, and number 1 in the 100 club for PTG.
Yes, quite importantly.
This
is number 1 with Boxy, and we've obviously got more people to come from the tournament as well.
Yeah.
So trying to really ticking off those people. Thanks for the battle. Thanks for being our number one, Boxy. And of course, here is the end screen, the end of the battle. We hope. Thank you very much for everyone that joined us. We've got putting up a few more logos on this screen. If you're still with us, give yourself a round of applause and take a look. Magnetic movement tray. Do go and check them out because we use most of them, to be honest, on all our stuff. They're really, really useful. And of course, Warhall, which you saw the battle report
Thank
here.
you, Warhall.
Really, really good tool. It keeps evolving as well. Obviously, you can use it for Old World as well as Ninth Age, but there's loads of little tiny tools and quality of life upgrades that they've added in there, which are really, really nice. And it's a really fun game. Overall, I think most of us would agree, and the reason we're into it is because we play live and on tables. But as a substitute, it's pretty good. It's pretty up there.
Yeah.
So,
It gets better and better, doesn't it?
yeah, all the pros and cons of online gaming, and if you are online gaming, I would say, I dare to say, it's one of the better ones as well, mediums to use. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, obviously the 9th Age Forum, maybe on Warhall every now and then. And if you are interested in becoming number whatever, like Boxy was as well, do get in touch. We've had a few people already get in touch with us.
Yeah, we'll get the queue started.
Yeah, so looking forward to them. Not everybody be a battle report, but we will do some 100 Club updates throughout the year, where we'll mention absolutely everyone we play and give an update on all the battles so far as the year progresses.
Yeah, so thank you very much for watching, everybody, and we will see you next time.
That's it.